Malik had always been a curious and hard-working boy. He lived in a quiet, suburban neighborhood, where most people were focused on their own routines. He was like any other teenager, doing his best to keep up with school, helping his family where he could, and dreaming of a better future. His life was simple, and he never really expected anything extraordinary to happen to him. But one afternoon, as he was walking home from school, something happened that would change his life forever. It was an unusually warm day for autumn, with the sun shining through the trees, casting long shadows on the sidewalks. Malik was walking down the street, his backpack slung over one shoulder, when he noticed something strange. A shiny black luxury car was parked by the side of the road, its right front tire completely flat. The car was expensive, with sleek lines and polished chrome details that caught the light. But what caught Malik's attention more than the car itself was the man standing next to it. He was pacing around the car, looking frustrated, as if he didn't know what to do. Malik, being the curious type, slowed his steps and glanced over. He didn't recognize the man at first, but there was something about him that made Malik feel he should help. The man, who looked like he was in his late 40s, was well dressed, in a crisp suit that looked more expensive than anything Malik had ever seen. He was tugging at his shirt collar in frustration, wiping sweat from his brow. Malik saw that the man had a jack and a spare tire beside him, but he seemed unsure about how to use them. He was trying to get the flat tire off but was struggling. Malik wasn't an expert on cars, but he had seen his uncle change tires a few times, and he knew the basics. Without thinking too much about it, Malik walked up to the man and said, "Hey, do you need some help?" The man looked up, surprised. His eyes were filled with a mix of relief and disbelief. "You know how to fix a tire?" he asked, his voice sounding skeptical but hopeful. "Yeah, I've seen it done before," Malik replied, trying to sound confident. The man studied him for a moment, clearly unsure. It wasn't every day that someone his age offered help, especially with something as technical as changing a tire. "Well, I'm not really sure how to use this jack properly," the man admitted, looking at the tools scattered on the ground. He seemed a bit embarrassed by his lack of knowledge. "No problem," Malik said, kneeling down beside the tire. "It's actually pretty simple. You just need to lift the car with the jack, then loosen the lug nuts." He grabbed the jack and showed the man how to set it under the car, making sure it was positioned correctly. The man watched closely, still skeptical but starting to trust Malik's confidence. Malik worked quickly and efficiently, showing the man step by step how to lift the car and remove the tire. He was careful, making sure everything was secure before moving on to the next step. The man followed Malik's instructions, albeit a bit slowly at first, but he was eager to learn. Once the tire was off, Malik helped the man put the spare on and tighten the lug nuts. It wasn't long before the job was done, and the car was ready to go. Malik stood up and wiped his hands on his jeans, feeling a small sense of pride. The man, now visibly relieved, stood next to him, clearly grateful. "Thank you, young man," the man said, extending his hand. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Malik shook his hand, smiling. "It's no problem. Glad I could help." The man seemed impressed by Malik's calm and collected nature. After all, how many teenagers would stop to help a stranger with a flat tire? Most would have just walked by, or worse, ignored it altogether. But Malik had stepped in without hesitation, and it had made a difference. The man looked at him thoughtfully for a moment before speaking again. "Let me pay you for your time," he offered. "I can't just let you do this for nothing." Malik shook his head, declining the offer. "No, I didn't do it for money. Just wanted to help out." The man's face softened with appreciation. "You remind me of someone I knew when I was younger," he said, almost to himself. Then, he straightened up and smiled at Malik. "You've got a good heart, kid." That's rare these days. Malik felt a warm feeling inside. It was nice to be appreciated, especially when he didn't expect anything in return. He looked at the man and shrugged. It's just something I was taught. Help others when you can. The man smiled again, but this time there was something more in his eyes, a sense of understanding. He seemed to study Malik for a moment before pulling a business card from his jacket pocket and handing it to him. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm Mr. Harrison, by the way. I own a few companies around here. I'm always looking for bright young people with a good attitude. Malik took the card, glancing at it. He didn't fully understand what the man meant, but the name on the card read Harrison Enterprises, and there was a phone number and email address listed below. Malik didn't think much of it at the time. He had helped someone out of a jam, and that was all that mattered to him. But something about Mr. Harrison's offer stayed with him. As Malik walked away, he glanced back at the car, now parked properly on the side of the road. Mr. Harrison was getting into the driver's seat, and as he started the car, he waved to Malik with a smile. Malik waved back, feeling a strange sense of accomplishment. He hadn't just helped fix a flat tire, he had done something that might just lead to something bigger. At that moment, Malik had no idea that this small, simple act of kindness would change his life in ways he couldn't even imagine. What seemed like a random encounter on a quiet afternoon would set the stage for a series of events that would take him on a journey of growth, learning, and opportunity, a journey that began with the turn of a wrench and the generosity of a stranger. A few days had passed since Malik had helped Mr. Harrison with the flat tire. He had nearly forgotten about the brief encounter, chalking it up as just another random moment in his routine. But that all changed when he received an unexpected phone call one afternoon. Malik was sitting on his bed, going over some schoolwork when his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, surprised to see an unknown number. Usually, he would let it go to voicemail, but something made him pick it up this time. Hello. Malik answered, his voice unsure. Is this Malik? Came the voice on the other end. It was familiar, but it took him a second to place it. Yes, this is Malik. Who's calling? He asked, still confused. This is Mr. Harrison. We met the other day when I had a flat tire. I've been thinking about our conversation, and I wanted to speak with you again. Are you free to meet up sometime soon? Mr. Harrison's voice was calm, but there was a certain warmth to it that Malik remembered. Malik felt his heart skip a beat. Mr. Harrison? The man who owned a few companies. Why would he want to meet him again? Malik had done nothing special, just helped with a flat tire. But Mr. Harrison had made a point to call him, and that alone made Malik curious. Sure, I guess I could meet you, Malik said, his voice betraying a hint of nervousness. When and where? Let's meet at the cafe on Elm Street. I'll be there at 3 p.m. tomorrow. How does that sound? Mr. Harrison asked. Malik agreed, trying to hide his excitement. As soon as he hung up, he couldn't help but think about the possibilities. What could this meeting be about? Why would someone so successful want to talk to him, a regular teenager with no real direction in life beyond finishing school? The next day, Malik made his way to the cafe, which was a cozy, quiet place known for its coffee and pastries. As he walked in, he spotted Mr. Harrison sitting at a table near the window, looking out at the street. The man was dressed in his usual sharp suit, his demeanor relaxed but authoritative. Malik approached him hesitantly. Hey, Mr. Harrison, Malik said, offering a small wave. Ah, Malik. So good to see you again, Mr. Harrison greeted him with a smile, standing up to shake his hand. Please, sit down. Malik sat across from him, feeling a bit out of place. The cafe's atmosphere was warm and inviting, but Malik couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to enter some kind of unknown world. He wasn't sure how to behave in this setting, but Mr. Harrison's calm demeanor helped him relax. "I hope you're doing well," Mr. Harrison said, taking a sip from his coffee. "I've been thinking a lot about what you said the other day, about helping others and doing the right thing. I can tell you have a good heart." Malik felt his cheeks flush. He wasn't used to people complimenting him like this, especially someone as important as Mr. Harrison. Thanks. I just did what anyone would do." Mr. Harrison chuckled softly. "Not everyone would have stopped to help me. People are often too busy or too focused on their own lives to think about helping others. But you saw someone in need and stepped up. That's rare. And I want to reward that kind of character." Malik blinked, not quite understanding. "Reward?" "Yes," Mr. Harrison said. "I know you're just a teenager, but I believe in giving opportunities to people who show promise. So, I wanted to offer you something. I've been thinking about it, and I'd like to give you a chance to intern at one of my companies." Malik's mouth went dry. "Wait, what? You mean, like a job?" he stammered, trying to make sense of what he was hearing. Mr. Harrison nodded. "Exactly. It would be an internship, so you'd be learning. I know you don't have any experience, but that's not what matters to me. What matters is your attitude, your willingness to help, and your potential. You'd be able to gain some real experience and learn what it's like to work in a business. I'm confident you'll pick things up quickly." Malik couldn't believe it. A job? An internship with one of the most successful business owners he'd ever met? He had no idea what to say. His mind was racing, trying to process the offer. I don't know what to say," Malik finally managed, his voice filled with awe. "I've never had anything like this before. I mean, I don't know much about business." "That's the beauty of it," Mr. Harrison replied. "You don't need to know everything. I'll teach you. The first thing you'll learn is that no one ever becomes successful alone. It takes hard work, dedication, and mentorship. And I think you have what it takes. I'm offering you a chance to learn from me, to gain experience in a field that might open doors you never thought possible." Malik's mind raced. Could this really be happening? A few days ago, he was just a regular teenager, walking home from school. Now, he was being offered a chance to learn from someone who had built an empire. It seemed too good to be true. But, why me? Malik asked, still trying to wrap his head around it. "There are so many other people who probably deserve this more." Mr. Harrison smiled gently. "Because you saw something in me when I was in need. You didn't ask for anything in return. That kind of selflessness is rare, and I want to nurture it. I want to help you succeed." Malik felt a rush of gratitude. He had never expected anything like this. He was just a kid who helped a stranger with a flat tire, yet here he was, being given the opportunity of a lifetime. "So, what do you say?" Mr. Harrison asked, leaning forward slightly. "Are you willing to take a chance on yourself?" Malik's heart was racing. He looked down at the table, trying to process the weight of the decision in front of him. His mind flashed to his family, to his dreams, to the future he had always hoped for but never thought was within reach. This was his chance to change his life. I'll do it," Malik said, his voice steady. "I'll take the chance." Mr. Harrison's face lit up with a genuine smile. "That's what I wanted to hear." As Malik walked out of the cafe, he felt like his entire world had just shifted. He had made the decision to step into a new world, one filled with opportunities, challenges, and the promise of something bigger than he had ever imagined. It was the beginning of a new chapter in his life, and he was ready to face it head on. Malik woke up the next morning with a sense of excitement he had never felt before. It was the first day of his internship at Mr. Harrison's company, and he could hardly believe it was happening. The idea that he was going to step into the world of business, a world so different from his own, felt like a dream. As he dressed for the day, he tried to calm the butterflies in his stomach. His family, especially his mother, had been so proud of him when he told them about the opportunity. But Malik couldn't help but wonder, what if I mess up? What if I'm not cut out for this? He tried to push those doubts aside as he made his way to the company's office. It wasn't far from where he lived, so he walked there, taking in the tall buildings and bustling streets. The office building stood in the middle of the business district, a towering structure of glass and steel. Malik had passed it many times on his way to school, but today, it felt different. Today, he was about to step inside and see what it was really like. When he entered the building, he was greeted by a receptionist who smiled warmly at him. "You must be Malik. Mr. Harrison's expecting you." "He's on the 15th floor," she said, pointing to the elevator. Malik smiled back, a little nervous but trying to remain composed. He took the elevator up, his mind racing with all the possibilities. When the doors opened on the 15th floor, he was greeted by a sleek, modern office. The air smelled of fresh coffee, and people were busy at their desks, typing away on computers, talking on the phone, and moving quickly through the open plan space. It was nothing like his school or home. Everything was fast-paced and professional. Malik felt a little out of place at first, but he reminded himself that he was here to learn. Mr. Harrison was waiting for him at a large desk, his back to the window, looking out at the city. He turned when he heard the door open and gave Malik a welcoming smile. "Good morning, Malik. Glad you could make it," he said, standing up to shake Malik's hand. "Good morning, Mr. Harrison," Malik replied, trying to sound confident. "Please, take a seat," Mr. Harrison said, motioning to a chair across from his desk. "I know this is your first day, so I just want to give you a brief overview of what we do here and what you can expect." Malik sat down, his nerves settling slightly as Mr. Harrison spoke. The company was involved in several areas of business, including marketing, finance, and consulting. It was a big organization with many moving parts, and Malik was eager to get started. Mr. Harrison explained that the internship would involve a lot of learning on the job. He would assist with small projects at first and gradually take on more responsibility as he gained experience. "You'll be working with different teams throughout your time here," Mr. Harrison continued. "At first, you'll be shadowing some of the staff, learning the basics of how we operate. But soon, I'll want you to take on tasks on your own. Don't worry if you don't understand everything right away. Just ask questions, and you'll pick it up." Malik nodded, his mind focused on the opportunity ahead of him. He was eager to prove himself, but he also knew there would be a lot to learn. He was determined to make the most of it. The day went by quickly, filled with introductions to various team members, tours of the office, and getting a feel for the company's operations. Malik followed a senior employee named Sarah, who showed him how they managed client accounts and organized marketing campaigns. She was kind but busy, giving him small tasks to help with as they went along. Malik tried to absorb everything he could, listening carefully and asking questions when he didn't understand something. One thing that stood out to Malik was the fast pace of everything. People seemed to be constantly moving, typing emails, making phone calls, brainstorming ideas, and working together. The work wasn't easy, but it was exciting. Malik felt like he was part of something bigger than himself. Every task he completed, no matter how small, made him feel more involved. During his lunch break, Malik sat in the break room, eating a sandwich while he watched the other employees. Some were chatting with each other, others were on their phones, and a few were working through their lunch. Malik felt a little out of place, unsure of where he fit into this professional world. But then he remembered Mr. Harrison's words, "Ask questions, and you'll pick it up." That afternoon, Malik was given a more hands-on task. Sarah asked him to help compile data for a new marketing report, something that would go to one of their clients. At first, Malik was nervous. The task seemed complicated, and he wasn't sure he could do it right. But Sarah explained the process, showing him how to organize the data and make sense of it. As he worked, Malik realized that the task wasn't as hard as it seemed. It just required patience and attention to detail. After a few hours, Malik had finished the report, and Sarah reviewed it. She looked over his work carefully, then gave him a nod of approval. "This looks good, Malik. You've done a great job. Keep it up, and you'll be running your own projects in no time." Malik's face lit up with pride. It wasn't a big project, but it was a start. He had taken on a challenge and completed it successfully. He felt a sense of accomplishment, something he had rarely felt in school. This was different. This was real work, and he was good at it. As the day came to a close, Mr. Harrison checked in with Malik before he left. "How was your first day?" he asked, looking genuinely interested. "It was great, actually," Malik said, his smile broadening. "I learned a lot. There's still so much to take in, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of it." "I'm glad to hear that," Mr. Harrison said. "You've got potential, Malik. Keep pushing yourself, and remember that mistakes are part of the learning process. You're here to grow, and we're here to help you." Malik walked out of the office that evening with a sense of pride and excitement. It had been a long day, but it had been one of the best days of his life. For the first time, he felt like he was part of something bigger, something that could change his future. And he was determined to keep learning, keep growing, and make the most of this incredible opportunity. As he walked home, Malik couldn't help but think about how far he had come. Just a few weeks ago, he had been helping a stranger with a flat tire, never imagining that it would lead him here, to this new world of business and opportunity. It was only the beginning, but Malik was ready for whatever came next. He knew this was just the start of a new chapter in his life, and he was excited to see where it would take him. As the days passed, Malik settled into a routine at the company. He became more comfortable with the fast-paced environment, and with each new task, he learned something valuable. Though there were times when he felt overwhelmed, especially with the more complex tasks, Malik was determined to prove that he could handle it all. The staff was friendly, and his mentor, Sarah, had taken him under her wing, guiding him through each challenge. One afternoon, Malik was asked to attend a meeting with Mr. Harrison and a few other team members. He had never been to an official business meeting before, and the idea made him nervous. As the day of the meeting approached, Malik spent extra time preparing. He reviewed the company's recent projects, practiced taking notes, and even researched some business terms he had heard around the office. He wanted to be ready. On the day of the meeting, he walked into the conference room, his stomach doing flips. Mr. Harrison greeted him with a warm smile, and Malik could feel his nerves ease a little. The room was sleek and modern, with a long table in the center surrounded by several chairs. A large screen on one wall displayed the company's latest financial reports. "Malik, glad you could join us," Mr. Harrison said, motioning for him to sit down at the table. Malik nodded and took a seat next to Sarah. He tried his best to appear calm, though his heart was racing in his chest. The meeting began, and Malik listened intently as Mr. Harrison and the other team members discussed several key projects. They talked about marketing strategies, financial goals, and client relations. Malik could tell that everyone was focused and serious, but they also worked together, asking each other questions and offering solutions. It was clear that everyone respected one another's opinions, and Malik was eager to learn from them. As the meeting went on, Mr. Harrison turned to Malik and asked, "Malik, you've been working on the marketing report for one of our clients, correct? What do you think of the strategy we're discussing?" Malik's heart skipped a beat. He had been silently taking notes, but now he was being asked to contribute. He had not expected to speak during the meeting. For a moment, he felt like he might freeze, but then he remembered all the times he had worked on the reports with Sarah. He had learned a lot from them. Taking a deep breath, Malik spoke up. "Well, I think the strategy makes sense, but I noticed that we could reach more people by focusing on social media platforms. A lot of the younger audience is more active online, and they respond well to targeted ads." Malik paused, hoping he hadn't said something wrong. Everyone in the room was quiet, listening closely to what he was saying. Mr. Harrison smiled. "That's a great point, Malik. We've been talking about expanding our social media presence for a while now. What kind of ideas do you have for reaching that audience?" Malik felt a surge of confidence as he continued. "Well, I think it would be good to partner with influencers who have a following in the target demographic. They could share content about our clients' products in a way that feels more personal. It could help create a connection between the brand and the audience." The room was quiet for a moment, and then Sarah nodded in agreement. "I think Malik's onto something. Social media influencers have a lot of power in shaping consumer behavior, especially among younger audiences. It could be a good approach." Mr. Harrison looked impressed. "You've been paying attention, Malik. I like your thinking. We'll definitely take this into consideration." Malik's heart swelled with pride. He had just made a valuable contribution to the meeting, and it felt amazing to be heard. As the meeting wrapped up, Mr. Harrison turned to him once more. "Good job today, Malik. Keep up the good work. You're showing real potential." As Malik walked out of the meeting, he couldn't stop smiling. For the first time in his life, he felt like he belonged. He had contributed something important, and it had been appreciated. The confidence he felt that day would carry him through many more challenges to come. The next few weeks brought more responsibilities and opportunities. Malik's role continued to grow, and he was entrusted with more tasks, some of which were more complicated than others. But each time he was given something new, he faced it head-on, using everything he had learned from his colleagues and mentors. His skills were improving, and with each task, he felt more prepared for the future. One afternoon, Mr. Harrison called Malik into his office. Malik had no idea what to expect, but he walked into the office, trying to remain calm. Mr. Harrison motioned for him to sit down. "Malik, I've been watching your progress," Mr. Harrison began, his tone serious but kind. "You've done a great job so far, and I'm impressed with the work you've put in. But I think it's time for you to take on something bigger." Malik's mind raced. Bigger? What did that mean? He had already been working hard, but what could be bigger than what he had already done? Mr. Harrison leaned forward. "We're working on a big project right now, a campaign for a new client. It's one of the most important projects we've had in a while. I want you to be a part of it. I'm giving you a lead role on a smaller part of the campaign. It's a big responsibility, but I believe you're ready for it." Malik couldn't believe what he was hearing. He had been given a lead role. This was the kind of opportunity that people spent years working for, and here he was, being handed it after just a few months. I don't know what to say," Malik stammered, his excitement growing. "I won't let you down. I'll work hard." Mr. Harrison smiled. "I know you will. But remember, you're not in this alone. We have a team, and we all work together. Ask questions when you need to, and don't be afraid to ask for help. This is your chance to show what you can do." Malik left Mr. Harrison's office feeling like he was walking on air. He had just been given an opportunity that many people would envy. A lead role in a major project? It was more than he had ever imagined. That evening, Malik called his mother to tell her the good news. She was overjoyed, and her pride in him made him even more determined to succeed. "You've worked so hard, Malik, she said. This is just the beginning. I know you can do it. The next day, Malik threw himself into the project. He worked long hours, staying late at the office to make sure everything was perfect. He collaborated with his teammates, listened to their feedback, and made adjustments when necessary. Even though the pressure was high, Malik found that he was thriving. He was growing more confident with each decision, and he realized that he was no longer the nervous teenager who had walked into the office for the first time. He was becoming a professional, ready to take on whatever challenges came his way. By the end of the week, the campaign was ready to launch. Malik stood next to Mr. Harrison, feeling a sense of pride as they presented it to the client. The client was impressed, and the campaign was a success. Malik's contribution had made a real difference, and he knew this was just the beginning. He had come so far, from helping a stranger with a flat tire to leading a key part of a major project. As the project wrapped up, Mr. Harrison gave him a nod of approval. You did a great job, Malik. I knew you had it in you. Malik smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. He had proved to himself that he was capable of more than he had ever imagined. And with Mr. Harrison's guidance, he knew this was only the start of something much bigger. Malik had come a long way since that first day at the company. His confidence had grown, and his skills had improved with each passing week. The internship that had started as a small opportunity had transformed into something much bigger, something that was shaping his future. He had proven himself to Mr. Harrison and the team, and now, he was beginning to see the rewards of his hard work. But what he didn't know was that a new chapter of his journey was about to unfold, one that would change his life in ways he couldn't have anticipated. One afternoon, as Malik sat at his desk working on a new marketing proposal, Mr. Harrison called him into his office. It had been a while since they had spoken one-on-one, and Malik's heart skipped a beat. What could this be about? He wondered. He wiped his hands on his pants nervously as he stood up and made his way to the office. Come in, Malik, Mr. Harrison called when he knocked. Malik walked in and stood before Mr. Harrison's desk, his mind racing with possibilities. Mr. Harrison looked up from his computer screen and smiled. Have a seat, he said, motioning toward the chair in front of him. Malik sat down, trying to keep his composure. He was unsure of what was coming but braced himself for whatever news Mr. Harrison had for him. I've been keeping an eye on your progress, Mr. Harrison began. You've been doing great work. You've taken on challenges, delivered results, and shown real growth in your skills. I think you're ready for the next step. Malik listened intently, his curiosity piqued. The next step? What could that be? Mr. Harrison continued, the company is expanding, and we're looking to bring in someone who can take on more responsibility, someone who can help lead some of our upcoming projects. Malik, I'd like to offer you a full-time position here at the company. Malik blinked in surprise. A full-time position? This was more than he had ever dreamed of. He had only started as an intern, thinking it would be a temporary experience to learn about the business world. But now, after proving himself and gaining experience, he was being offered a real job. I don't know what to say, Malik said, his voice filled with disbelief. This is incredible. I never imagined this would happen. Mr. Harrison smiled, clearly pleased with Malik's response. You've earned it. You've worked hard, and I believe in your potential. You'll be joining the team as a junior project manager. You'll be responsible for helping with some of our key projects and working directly with clients. It'll be a challenge, but I have no doubt you'll do well. Malik's mind was still racing. Junior project manager? That was a huge responsibility. He had never thought of himself in that kind of role before. He was just a regular kid from the neighborhood, and now he was being asked to take on something so important. But as he thought about it, he realized that this was the chance of a lifetime. He had always dreamed of doing something big with his life, and now, that opportunity was in his hands. "I won't let you down," Malik said, his voice firm with determination. "I'll work hard and do my best." Mr. Harrison nodded, his smile widening. "I know you will. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can accomplish." Malik left Mr. Harrison's office that afternoon feeling like he was walking on air. It felt surreal. He had gone from a nervous intern to a junior project manager in just a few months. He couldn't wait to tell his family the good news. When he got home, he walked through the door, grinning from ear to ear. His mother was in the kitchen, preparing dinner. "Mom," Malik called, his excitement bubbling over. "I have something to tell you." His mother looked up, surprised by his sudden enthusiasm. "What is it, Malik? You look like you won the lottery." "I kind of did," Malik said, barely able to contain his excitement. "Mr. Harrison offered me a full-time position at the company. I'm going to be a junior project manager." His mother's face lit up with joy. "Malik, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. You've worked so hard for this." Malik's heart swelled with pride as he saw the happiness in his mother's eyes. She had always been his biggest supporter, and knowing that he had made her proud made the achievement even sweeter. The next few weeks were filled with new challenges and responsibilities. Malik dove headfirst into his new role, taking on more tasks and managing different aspects of the projects he was assigned to. There were moments when he felt overwhelmed, but he remembered what Mr. Harrison had told him: "You're not in this alone. We're a team." With that in mind, Malik reached out to his colleagues whenever he needed help. He found that they were always willing to offer guidance, and soon, he became more comfortable managing his tasks. One of Malik's first big projects was working on a campaign for a new client, a small startup that wanted to expand its online presence. Malik was responsible for overseeing the strategy, working with the marketing team, and ensuring everything stayed on track. It was a huge project, and there were times when he doubted his abilities. But with the support of his team and Mr. Harrison's mentorship, Malik pushed through and delivered a successful campaign that helped the client grow their audience and boost their sales. As the months went by, Malik's confidence grew, and so did his responsibilities. He was no longer the nervous intern, he was now an integral part of the team, contributing to the company's success. He had earned the trust of Mr. Harrison and his colleagues, and they respected him for his hard work, creativity, and dedication. Malik often thought back to the day he had helped Mr. Harrison with the flat tire. It seemed like such a small act at the time, but it had set in motion a series of events that had completely changed his life. If he hadn't stopped to help, who knew where he would be now? That simple act of kindness had opened doors he never could have imagined. One evening, as Malik walked home from work, he reflected on how far he had come. He was proud of himself, but he knew he had a long way to go. There was still so much he wanted to learn, so much more he wanted to achieve. But for the first time in his life, he felt like he was on the right path. He was no longer just dreaming of a better future, he was building it, one step at a time. Malik didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing for certain: he was ready for whatever came next. With hard work, determination, and the belief in himself that he had gained over the past few months, there was nothing he couldn't achieve. And as he walked through the door of his home that evening, he couldn't help but smile, knowing that his journey was only just beginning.